You're listening to The Common Sense Experience with Amir, Chuck, and Pete. Be sure to leave us a review on iTunes.
Hey man, sometimes you just gotta talk your shit. More than music. Out of this world I'm going. No, I was never a human. What type of time you on? In different zones I'm moving. Gotta be spitting the truth.
Man, we got a lot of topics to talk about today. You know, we're gonna talk about obviously with Drew Brees, and that bullshit. The NBA
gonna shoot the breeze.
right. Now on, you know, just so y'all know, all racist remarks from people or racist conversations about racism are going to go ahead and be called shooting the breeze from now on. We got the NBA. That's back. You know what I mean? How y'all, you know what I'm saying? We're going to talk about how we feel about that or whatever, though. Let's see what's going on. I heard that this news report, these reports just came out, though, that George Floyd and pussy-ass cop Derek, whatever the fuck his name is, Jackoff or Dickhead, whatever the fuck his name is. They worked at the same club together. Says George Floyd was kind of, you know what I'm saying, though, you know, had it in with the ladies or whatever, though. And
I think it was a porn star.
Derek Chauvin, not so much.
I think it was a porn star.
Right.
I mean, it's called what it is. What it is. It is a porn star.
He was pulling mad bitches. That mother was, yeah. We'll get into that though, man. Actually, there's a conversation, Chuck, that you actually have brought up on last show though. And you was talking about economics and Marcus Garvey and whatnot. Though, and Peter had put it up, and he had said that. So you said you had seen a lot of that stuff kind of come up after that conversation, right, Pete? Your social media.
Yeah, it's wild. Just seeing a lot of Black historian pages post about Marcus Garvey and his plight to try to get us back to Africa, but not just. And I know we talked about it earlier. We was gonna have one of these days. Want to have my son's coach on here to discuss some things because I sent the info to him and he kind of broke it down even more to me as well, because they just try to point it as, oh, he just want to move back to Africa, but not really explain why. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Not really explain the idea of how it could help us and our resources and make Africa grow into a pretty much a Wakanda. You know what I'm saying? Like, we could have had a real life Wakanda if we would have did the move that Marcus Garvey was talking about, 80-something years ago?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just wild, like the information and the stuff I seen, maybe because my eye opened up a little bit more ever since Chuck talked about it, but you just see the information out there, like what could have been and maybe what could still be.
I think, So obviously, you know, we're in a much different times than we were 80 years ago, right? For all Black people to go back to Africa, like Africa is too colonized. I mean, it was colonized back then, but now there's so many hands in a pot in Africa that it would literally have to be an uprising and us for us to have our firm footing in Africa. What I'm thinking, and I'll get your thoughts on it, is that, okay, well, how can we accomplish that here in America under a racist system, right? Because we have to work with the tools that we got, right? In order to uproot the system, we're talking about war, right? World War III, it would have to be, right? They're not going to just lay down and let other ethnic groups take over, right? This is, you know, we're talking about the top 1.0001% of the people who run the world, right? And there's only about 4 or 5 families that run the world, right? And so, economically, we can achieve what Marcus Garvey envisioned. I just think that it has to be done here in America. Like if we try to do that to Africa, we would have to go to war in order to get those people out. Because again, there's so many hands in a pot. Now back then, I'm sure there were a lot of hands in the pot, but not as many as there is today. Right? There's a lot of different companies. Let's just use Apple. You know, Apple, a lot of their phone material comes from Africa, right? So we're talking about creating an entirely new economy, which takes time, right? I mean, we look at the American economy. We're talking about hundreds and hundreds of years of development of the American economy, and that's what it would have to be, or how we would have to start if we were going to try and do that in Africa.
So basically, we'd have to sort of be the investment group. We'd have to be the capital.
Well, yeah, because that's
true,
how
$1 trillion or something to that effect.
Say it again.
A lot of people spend how much money like worldwide?
Oh yeah, it's $1 trillion spending capacity. Like we would be the
Black Americans. That's just Black Americans.
That is black. We would be the 6th or 7th largest country GDP wise, and GDP means the amount of money that a country has circulating versus the amount of So we would be the 6th or 7th largest country, just black people, based off our spending capacity.
So we gotta get our shit straight then.
That's huge, bro. Like, I mean, like,
right.
Of course, we're going through what we're going through right now.
Right.
And, we got all the looting and protesting.
Right.
Which I don't want to say I'm pro-protest and looting, but I'm not totally against it. I mean, like, So, I mean, I'm not totally for it. Right. So it's kind of like in between. I mean, but if we use another strategy, so instead of tearing down a Target, which they have insurance to rebuild, so in Minneapolis where all this shit went down, Target was looted. They have insurance to cover this. The only thing that they're going to lose is time rebuilding. That's it. But instead, what they don't have insurance against, an economic boycott. They don't have insurance against losing millions of dollars a day because black people choose not to buy at that Target. They don't have insurance against that.
Okay.
So, go ahead.
Okay. I feel what you're saying, but I feel like a lot of times though, y'all can both, though, give y'all opinion on it. But I kind of feel like sometimes, like we do like the blackout, we do that stuff though, but we don't also have a plan in order to that can actually sustain more and build our own type of invest in our own type of target. It seems like it's good, but it's like, well, where did it go? You're back there next week.
Well, that's because we live. One, we don't have the number. Well, we have the numbers, but we don't have the numbers. If you know what I'm saying.
Got you. I got you.
I'm saying, right? We have the numbers, but we don't have the numbers in quantity to pull it off.
Okay.
And because we live in such a fast-paced society, because we don't see immediate results, we say, "Oh, okay, it's not working." No, this shit takes time, bro. Like this, we can't. I mean, we can't expect this shit to happen in a day or two.
Do you think that as far as from a teaching aspect, and y'all can both speak to this as parents, like, do you think that we have to go ahead and teach our children early to appreciate buying black, the value of buying black, the value of supporting black, companies, different things? I feel like that needs to be taught. A lot of times when we get certain money, the first thing we go to is now we can buy they shit. You know what I mean? Now we can go to their school,
I think it's important, especially in my bad, Chuck. I think right now is important.
Yeah.
I know the world is in chaos right now and everything like that, but there's a lot of things that's not being discussed that I see going on. Like, for example, I see a meme going around about, you want to really hurt them in their pockets, like Chuck alluded to on all the shows we've ever done. Economic power, taking your kid out of a Division I school and putting them into a black college. And right. I saw a highly recruited young man. I don't know his name. I saw it last night. I can't remember his name. And I saw him really post a long post about how he's considering going to a am I saying HBCU?
HBCU, yep.
HBC, yeah. Instead of a D1 school, I think he was set to go to like North Carolina or Duke or one of them. And I really hope he does that. Pursue it. It takes one. That's the thing. It takes one. And then when that one does happen, the dominoes will fall. Like Yeah, Chuck. Yeah, what Chuck said was right. Like, we have a long way to go, but you got to get off the front porch somehow.
Yeah, you got to start.
And I think what's going on now is allowing some of our people to get off the front porch. So I hope that young brother does follow through and go to a HSBCU because that will help.
Mikey Williams is his name, Pete.
Mikey Williams. Thank you, bro. Thank you, Mikey Williams. I hope he does follow through with that. And I think that's just one of the dominoes. And then we can continue to have a discussion on what we do next. Like I put in I know y'all boys want to chime in, so I'm gonna end my part with this. I put in a group chat. It was a meme going, not a meme, but a message going around saying like don't post live, but to boycott 4th of July. Celebrate Juneteenth like we would 4th of July. Buy black during the Juneteenth months, and on 4th of July or in July 7th, just shut everything down. Don't buy nothing that day. It's small steps. Like we do have the power to. We may not have everybody involved, but we do have the power to start. Like July 7th. Don't buy here. Buy whatever you need to get before that date, and then here when July 7th come, look up what's black owned. If you need something, try to get it from a black owned company. If you can't get it from that black owned company, well, shit, just wait till the day is over with. You know what I'm saying? It's small steps that we have to take to create bigger change. My bad, Amir.
Sort of to the intelligent will follow, you know what I'm saying, though, the ones that, they'll understand what makes sense.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They're going to follow that. Okay. Leading by examples, sort of attitude.
Right.
And I think also, because one of the things that I noticed, man, let me know if y'all agree or not, is that, of course, we hear the slogan, buy black, buy black, buy black. To us, we know why, but to a young kid, they don't know why, right? So right. I think giving them, okay, well, we don't want to just buy black based solely off that. Here's why.
Here's the reason.
Right. Here's the reason why. And I think if we educate our kids young enough, that'll start being ingrained into their mind, and it'll help combat this addiction to white supremacy.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I had something else I was gonna say too. But yeah, man, I'm for the, and okay, here it is. So, and there's a lot of legit white businesses, and there's a lot of not so legit white businesses.
Okay.
There's a lot of legit black-owned businesses, and there's a lot of not so legit black businesses.
Should we shout out Ben and Jerry's right here, or no? You said there's a lot of legitimate white. I said, should we shout out Ben and Jerry's right here, or no?
Oh shit!
They've been doing that. You know what I mean?
Oh shit!
Okay, all right. Chuck started it, so I asked, goddammit.
But one of the excuses black people have for not supporting other black businesses, like this person scammed me, that person scammed me, not knowing that they being scammed by white businesses at the same length.
It's called taxes.
But they don't have but they don't have that same excuse when it comes to white businesses. We only hear that for black businesses. Oh, this black person scammed me. This black person scammed me.
Right.
I mean, so we have to get on that mindset. Yes, there's some legit black businesses, and there's some not so legit black businesses. There's also some legit white businesses, and there's also not so legit white businesses. And we talk about all the time the double standard in black people's consciousness, right? There's a double standard that we have to get out of. We have to, right? If we're to see change, we have to remove that double standard and start thinking black. I mean, that's, I ain't gonna call a spade a spade. We have to have that mindset, and we have to start literally de-brainwashing ourselves from our addiction to white supremacy on an unconscious level. Because white is not always right. It's not. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have nothing against white people. I don't. There's some nice ones, but there are also some not so nice ones. I'm gonna say the same. There's some nice black people, and there's some not so nice black people. But again, I have that perspective, right? It's not a this or that. That makes sense. I don't know. I might be going all over the place with you.